It was a normal day in Cloudstown at the near Wonderbolt Academy. Spitfire had told her friends that there was good practice, and now they have a few days off from the practice for that. And that would give every pony or the team a great time to just relax. Rainbow, by the way, had actually been looking forward to this, and she told Spitfire and Sora and the others that she would be just at home, relaxed, and reading during books with her friend Fluttershy. And even during this particular time, Soren and Spitfire had been dating for almost 5 years. But something had happened lately, though. Soren had slowly started to lose his love feelings towards Spitfire. Even though they had been together for so long time, she had expected that maybe one day they would be married. But on the same next day, though, Soren went to see Spitfire at her apartment. They talked for a while when Soren mentioned that maybe it was time for him to see other ponies. And Spitfire asked why he suddenly thinking that. He said, "I'm sorry, Spitfire, but I don't know what to say, but I have fallen in love with Fleetfoot. So you decided, are you breaking up with me?" She asked. I am. I'm sorry." But before she could say anything, he said goodbye and left. That night, Spitfire was crying all night long. She could not expect what happened. She really didn't know what to do. So she left her apartment the next day, but she didn't tell any pony where she's going. She didn't even went to her mom. She didn't went to Ponyville or anywhere else that any pony that she expected to. She just went far, far away from Cloudstown. She needed some time to think. And turns out she had packed some camping gear and just left. She decided to go on a camping trip just to be by herself. So, but as time passed, after a few days of their time off, when Rainbow returned back to Cloudstown to the academy, she saw that Soren and even Lightning Strike was talking. Even Fleetfoot was there, and surprise, they always worried looks. She asked, "Well, is something wrong?" And they all turned around and saw Rainbow. "Wait, you don't know?" Soren asked. "About what?" "Spitfire hasn't returned." "Wait, what do you mean return? Isn't she here?" "No. Apparently she hasn't been here for days. So, where is she?" "We have no idea. Apparently she left a few days ago with some camping gear, but we haven't seen or even heard anything about her. We have even asked around the town if any pony has seen her. We even had asked ponies in Camelot, Ponyville, anything. But wait, you're in Ponyville. Haven't you seen her?" "No." "Do you think she might be in Evergreen Forest?" "Wait, do you think seriously she would camp in Evergreen Forest? In one of the most dangerous places in an Equestria?" "Well, I don't know about that, Rainbow," said Soren. But Lightning Strike said, "Listen, if she is camping somewhere, we have to find her now. Because we can't having our team without a team captain. And especially in our upcoming show in Trottingham soon. We need her help. We need her practice and leadership." "Alright, We will split up. Surprise with lightning strike. Me and Soren will go to FFP Forest to see if she's there. And hopefully we find her before the end of the day, said Rainbow. Alright, that sounds like a good idea. So every pony searched for different places. But on their way to FFP Forest, why do you think she could have been there? Asked Soren. Well, the only place I know that is a good place for camping, but even it's one of the dangerous places, she said. But what is the reason she decided to do this? She never done anything like this before, hasn't she? No, she hasn't, but you're right. This is different from what she normally do. She normally, if she's going away sometimes, maybe she's going to her mother, but we have been there and asked her, but she hasn't seen her daughter in days, or almost a few weeks. But what made her doing this in the first place? That might be my problem. What do you mean, sorry? And then he explained to her. And she just stopped mid-air. Wait, you broke up with Spitfire because they want to be with Fleetfoot? And just didn't mention this to the others because of this? I didn't know if this has any irrelevance. I didn't thought maybe this was even part of this because of this. Soren, you two have been together for 5 years, and you just broke up with her because of that. Do you not even think that she might be heartbroken and might be the reason that she didn't even return? Celestia, you're right. We need to find her fast. And they all went fly so fast that they could to every forest. They searched and searched the entire forest as they could, but no trace at all. But until late afternoon, they find the campsite, but no Spitfire, and the camp was trashed. What happened here? Said Soren, but surprised and shocked. It looks like almost a tornado had been through here. Yeah, a tornado with claw marks. Wait, claw marks? And Rainbow pointed to the ground and saw, and it was Timberwolf's footprints. Timberwolves! We need to find her! She cannot stand against them alone. We split up. You go to the right and I go to the left. And scream as loud as you can if you find her. Trust me, I will. And they all spread up to find her. And they managed to find her. But after some time searching, they actually did find her. She was sitting on a rock, shaking. Turns out she had managed to get away from the Timberwolves, hiding. But she was hurt. One of her wings had been hurt, so she couldn't fly. So both of them carried her all the way to Cloudsdale's academy, where she got treatment. But due to her injury on her wing, she was unable to practice or even lead the team for next couple of weeks. So that meant the entire practice might have been waste of time. But the others, they admit that Rainbow has showed true skills in leadership. And even Rainbow was admitted from Spitfire to be temporarily flying the captain of the Wonderbolts until she was just better. So she did that. And during the time when Spitfire was away from the academy, she spent sometimes in her apartment or in her mother's place. But then, during just the first week just ended of her time, she ran into a pony. And it turns out to be a very old friend of hers, Thunderwing. Thunderwing used to live in Cloudsdale until that his family moved to Maidhaven several years ago, but it turns out that he had returned, but not staying there. He's only returned to see some old friends that he hasn't seen in years. And he was surprised to see her. He knows that she was part of Wonderbolts, but when he noticed the wing had some bandage on it, and he asked if she was alright. Yeah, I'm alright. Yes, I encountered some Timberwolves. Wait, you encountered Timberwolves? Why? I wonder what happened. And she took her and she decided to tell him all the things, but she was getting hungry, so they went to this diner, and when it was there, she explained to him all the details. Wow, I am sorry to hear about you and Sword, but honestly though, I never expect you would be taking that drastic adventure. Just get rid of him. Try to get some time off from that. That was a little bit stupidity, if you ask me, Spitfire. I know that you're brave enough, but going to one of the dangerous places you camp, you're gonna go somewhere else to be camping. But why use that particular space? She really didn't have any explanation. She just randomly picked one place that she could be some alone time. She realized though that picking the Everfree Forest was a stupid idea, knowing that the Timberwolves and other dangerous creatures lives there. So she realized her mistake. But even though during this particular time, Spitfire asked how things has been for Thunderwing after he moved away. Well, he said that he has been doing quite well. He has a great job. He works as a baker in Maidhaven, and he has actually recently had been with a mare, which he found out that she had been cheating on him for the past 6 months behind his back. So he decided to break up with her. So that's it, most of it. And she felt hardly sorry for about him. But there was something that when he said that, you see, Spitfire, one of the things after that I moved away from here, there was one thing that I really regret that I even had the time to tell you. And what about that? It was that I had a crush on you even before I moved away. She was surprised. You had a crush on me, but never told me? Well, I was going to tell you on the day when I was moving, but my parents and my friends and family were stressing out. We were getting out of time, and we had to help around, so I didn't have the time to see you. And everything was finished. I thought maybe I could just go see you for a few minutes to talk to you, tell you. But then my parents said, no time, we leave it right now. And that was the time I could never see you again. Until now. But I understand if you don't have any feelings towards me. I just felt that I wanted to tell you. I mean, after all this time, I still have a love for you. But I understand if you don't want to be with me. I mean, I don't blame you. And then he said goodbye and just left. Spitfire had no idea what was just happened. So for the next couple of days, when Spitfire was at her mother's place, she had told her about this, and it turns out her mother just had a feeling toward that Thunderwing had a crush on her daughter, but she couldn't even confirm or deny if there was even something was possible. Just there was some feeling she had. And even if we don't know much about that, her mother said, but now he had explained that to you, why don't you just give it a try? Even if you recently had just ended up with Soren. Thunderwing is a good friend of yours, and he loves you. Why don't you just give him a chance to show it that it can work? So she decided. And since the Thunderwing was staying with an old friend of his, and when she said that she would give him a chance to date him to see if there can be something between them, so he was smiled and said yes. But ever since that Spitfire's wing was still injured, which made almost no way possible for her to go anywhere except if they took an air balloon or something to go there. But he decided maybe they could just stay and spend time in Cloudsdale. First, the date they went to was a restaurant, and there they both had this amazing time. They talked mostly about old memories together. But it was one of the things that they both agreed to, that they both have missed each other so much. Even they did actually wrote letters towards each other back and forward for the past, only for the first few years, but suddenly all that stopped, and until they moved on with their lives and almost forgot about it. But now they had admitted their true feelings toward each other. Even Spitfire still had a crush on Soren, but she realized there was no point to try to get him back. Now he was seeing Fleetfoot, and now when the Thunderwing had come back to her life and admits his feelings towards her. So she had a dilemma. Her heart had two lives now, two feelings towards two stallions. But she knows Soren will never take her back as before. And her love for Thunderwing had just only started flourish in her heart. But she was still a bit nervous how to see another stallion right after that her long-term relationship just had ended. She was just scared if anything would be the same. But her mother had said determined, give him a chance. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't even work, you have tried. So she decided to follow her mother's advice. And when her wing had been recovered, but that was sometimes after when the upcoming show in Shroudingham was over. And even then, Spitfire had admitted could make Rainbow the next captain if something would happen or if she is available for being practice. So, Rainbow admits to that and thanks for it. But during this particular time, though, Thunderwing, he often went to see to practice what about the Wonderbolts, only to see that he could see and talk to Spitfire during the breaks. So, he didn't mind that. And even during this, only by a few weeks after they first met, their relationship started to get stronger and stronger. But ever since that he did still lived in Maidhaddon and that she lives in Cloudsdale, and since the both towns are quite some distance between each other, it would take time for them to go see each other as often as they could. But luckily though, the Wonderbolts still had sometimes some time off from work for the practice, and one time they had a week of time off. So Spitfire decided to go to Maidhaddon to be with Thunderwing, and there they had this amazing time. Often went to movies or go to a restaurant or even have a picnic together. But there was one thing that he forgot to mention to her, that his family had been aware of their relationship quite early after the people went back, and they were actually surprised because they even knew about his love towards Spitfire all along, but they didn't admit to saying much about it though. They had almost thought that he would have forgot about Spitfire and moved on, which he did later on. But after finding out what his ex-girlfriend had did to him, they were shocked. She was an amazing girlfriend to him. Amazing mare, always well behaved, funny, sweet. But learning that she had been cheating on their son for 6 months was something that they could not forgive her for. When she returned back to see him, after trying to forgive him and trying to forgive and take her back, he refused. and she tried to talk to his parents about this if they could maybe help her, but they said to her right out, "You cheated on our son for 6 months, and you expect us to make you help you go back to him. You broke his heart. You broke his trust. Maybe if you had only been cheating for only once, from maybe one time, for only maybe a day, but this is something that not be easy to repair. But he is not willing to give you a try again. So please, make us a favor. Don't interfere with his life anymore. Don't try to be with him anymore. He has moved on. Stay with the stallion you have been with. We don't want to even see you anymore. So please go." That was the last time even he saw her. And it turns out by rumors that his ex-girlfriend had moved from Maidhaven to Trottingham, where she stayed with another stallion. But as Thunderwing had moved on, his love for Spitfire had been that strong, and even remained stronger now after he had immediately feelings towards her and started dating her. After almost but 6 months of being dating, Spitfire knew that Thunderwing was the right stallion for her. But she was just still nervous how their relationship, if it would last longer or perhaps even fail at some point. But after since a year passed between them, everything seems to be going quite well, strong, and their relationship just has to remain strong for each single day. As they both agreed, trying to make time for each other, even during her practice or at shows or even during his work. But one day, Spitfire admits to her friends that she is moving from Cloudsdale to Maidhaven. And they ask, why suddenly all this happened? It turns out Thunderwing had asked Spitfire to move in with him, and which he said yes, and they actually did that also. But that didn't stop her from doing her practice for the Wonderbolts. She still lived with her mother from time when she was staying in Cloudsdale. That didn't stop her. Most of her friends thought this would not work out because of long distance, but they proved it all wrong. Spitfire could make their relationship with Thunderwing to last. But even after almost 2.5 years, Thunderwing had told his parents about possible proposal to Spitfire, and they all said, "Go for it. She's ready for it. We believe you." But even himself was nervous. Then he actually did ask her to marry him, which she said yes immediately. They even had a wedding itself in Maidhaven. Rainbow to be as Spitfire's bridesmaid, an old friend of, and even Soren to be Thunderwing's best man. Turns out Thunderwing and Soren have been good friends ever since they got to know each other better. Even after this, they actually then later went to Crystal Empire for a whole week's of honeymoon. And when they actually came back to Maidhaven, they were happy to have entered a new chapter in their lives. And even later on, only about a year after, Spitfire and Thunderwing announced they're going to have a baby, which they later had a son. And almost 4 years later, they had a daughter together. So Spitfire was happy that she went out on a date with Thunderwing. If she had even run into him, she would never have found out about his love towards her in the first place. That would meant no meeting him, no future life with him, no family at all. And even Thunderwing had said to himself, if I didn't have met her that day, none of this would never have happened. So, Soren has been his friend, and he admits that to her. Even Spitfire was happy to see that Soren had been married with Fleetfoot and they had 2 daughters of their own together. And that's how Spitfire and Thunderwing got married and had their own family. The end.